All Home DIY Dad. Today we're going to show you how to replace the seal or the boot on your wash machine. Yours is like mine. This is before I replaced it. It is absolutely disgusting. So we'll show you how to do that in a bit. Also, if you like my content, I like to try to do stuff around the house, easy fixes, some bigger projects, basically anything I can do to save some money, build some things, or repair things myself. If you like that, please subscribe to my channel. It'll go a long ways into help me out in making future content. Please post any comments below with any questions. I'm glad to answer any if you have any. I'm doing this intro after I've already done the install. It's a definite process with some kind of intricate little pieces that you got to figure out how to use. So I'm going to go through some tools that are going to be real helpful for you to do this. And along with the boot, which is the seal that goes on the edge of your door all the way into the gasket or on the inside, I also cleaned out the hoses, as many as I could get to, on the inside as well, that feed and drain the actual wash machine. Over time, when they get drained out from dirty clothes and debris, they start to get clogged up. I took a look at the first one and I was appalled. You'll see it in the video. So I went through and cleaned all those. So I'm going to show you the tools that you need. Most of them are very basic. You'll have around the house screwdriver with a Phillips bit, needle nose pliers, and a wrench. And then the only tool that you're going to need, they say that you can do it without this. I would beg to differ. Maybe if you're a professional, you could do it without this tool. But this is a spring expander. So basically what it does is there's a seal around the outside and the inside of a wire with a spring on it. And this allows you to expand the spring to take that off. It sits in a channel. It's easy to take them off, but putting them back on when you don't have this to expand the wire length is, I would say, almost impossible. I had some issues with some of mine. I'll show you in the video. This is a must need. I'll post a link below the video in the description to show you what you need. And it's a very cheap, easy tool that you'll need for the job. Along with that, some tools that will be handy, but you don't need: a drill with a Phillips drill bit. And then if you're working in some tight spaces and you can't access the back of your machine to take the top panel off, which is necessary to do this, a 90-degree drill bit adapter would be really nice to have. Because I had some issues, I had to use some other pliers. I'm thinking you won't have the same issues that I would, because my issue was basically a faulty spring part. The spring was coiled in a fashion that it doesn't even expand long enough to be able to fasten in. So I had to kind of modify it. I won't go too much in the weeds on that. And then the other piece that you're obviously going to need is your new boot. This is my old one because I've already done this, but you're going to need your new one. I'll post a link to this in the description as well, so that you can at least have a starting place to look for your model number and all that stuff. But I just recommend looking up your actual model number of your wash machine and then go find the parts and look for the boot or the seal, and it'll tell you what you need, and usually Amazon has it. Otherwise, there's lots of parts warehouses that you can order from. Other miscellaneous stuff you may need: towels. So I ended up cleaning out the pump filter and the lines, and there's obviously water in them. So you're going to want some towels to swap up any of that stuff that comes out. I also used it to clean out some stuff on the inside that was kind of nasty. Another helpful thing to have to slide the boot on a little bit easier is some dish soap. Really anything will work, but makes it really lubricated so that you can slide it on a lot easier. So that should be it for parts and materials. First thing you want to do, I did mention when I first started working on this, is unplugging the machine just in case you press any buttons and turn anything on while you're working on it. First thing that you're going to want to do is work that edge of that boot on the outside off. So here's where I'm going to show you how to use this tool. Try to get that spring off. So here's a little close-up of that spring. You can see that there's these two little pieces and points that the spring is attached to this little wire. And the tool works so that you put it each end in and then you can expand it to take it off real easy. So simple as that, comes off really easy and goes back on easy. And if you don't want to use that, you can put in some smaller tools, try to expand that out. It's not as easy because you gotta get both sides stretched, and then you gotta worry about not letting it snap back together when you do it. So it definitely is a little bit more cumbersome, and then putting it on back on is a lot harder. So when time comes for that one, I'll show you as well. So it might be worth it to get that little tool. Next, let's go into the little pump housing in here, the pump filter. Pull this little tab down because that slides through, and then there's a little screw in here that you need to take out. Thing that comes in handy sometimes are these little bit extenders. They lock bits in so you don't lose them. And little spaces like this, especially when you're doing a video, does help to get in that tight space a little bit easier. Make sure you put your screws in a nice spot. You're not going to lose them. Pop this little thing out, pretty simple. This allows you to be able to take that front housing off. While you're down here, there is another screw underneath to take the front panel off. One thing you have to do too is peel this off pretty easy before you take the front panel off. Oh, you can already see the nastiness in there. Alright, so that's loose. Take the tray out. I've got these two screws here to do. Unscrewing the bottom screw that fastens into the base of the back of the washer. So this one goes into the top, this is the bottom. You want to take that one out so you can slide this panel backwards. So you want to slide this away so that you can take the face panel off. There's one on each side. So two screws on the back. This is where that 90-degree bit may come in handy. Probably could get this with a screwdriver to show you guys how this works, and I'll post a link to this product. I can actually find the screw here. This is where you do not want to drop the screw. I probably will. To. Oh, and I dropped it. That's frustrating. A little bit of leverage here to get that off. All you need to slide it back is about 1 inch. So a little bit is all you need to get at these screws to take off the front panels. There's one pesky screw here that I think, so the way that mine is set up, you can actually see that there's these little tabs that come through under here, keep this on the faceplate. There's a tab right here. I think that those pop out and it actually comes off the frame instead of this framing coming completely off. So you might need to move yours a little further back like me. Try and get in here. Yeah, that front loosened up quite a bit, so I don't think the other ones need to be really taken out. Yeah, so those just pop off. And this can be put up here. Now we've got to take out these screws for this front panel to come off. One thing to look for here as well is there's this electrical tab that you don't want to break as this is coming out, so you want to pop that off. It's the sensor for the door that it's sealed all the way. Pull that tab, shimmy it down if you can actually reach. Doing this one-handed is proving to be a little difficult. But you get the idea. Pop the tab, electrical, pull it down. As you can see, this just pops in to the bottom of there, like this. And the whole front door comes out. Now is where you need your wrench. You got these little drain tubes that need to be detached from the boot on the inside. They got these little tabs here that you squeeze to remove it. This little cap comes off. Maybe you can do that one by. Wowzers. Really tight on there. See if we can get that off of there. There we go. Up. There we go. And then this little piece slides out, and you're going to want to reuse that in your new boot. Nasty. line over here you got to take off. All that off. Probably could have just done this one. It's got this little plastic. Oof. That is some clogged up stuff there. Definitely need to be cleaned. Good thing I'm doing this. Take this off. Whoa. Look at that. Nasty. Not completely clogged, but we'll get that cleaned out. Hopefully we'll be working a little bit in this. Pretty dirty as well. So I'm going to take that out and clean it as well. Going down a rabbit hole here. This line has got a lot of blockage going on. That's all stuff going into my laundry. It's gross. And that tube, that line comes all the way down here to the pump housing. So I'm going to take that line out. Wonder if this one, there's one over here as well. Probably going to clean that one too. Get them all cleaned out. Every washer is going to have different locations for these. Sometimes there's two that go in and out here on the top. Sometimes there's another one. You got this over here. Mine's got two on the sides. Doesn't look like any on the bottom except this one here. We have one on the bottom as well. So got a lot of them to take off here. Oh, this one looks like completely clogged up. My goodness. These all need to be cleaned out. All that stuff going into my laundry, gross. So I'm going to detach these in here so that I can clean everything. Uh-oh. That water. Alright, so we're getting down a rabbit hole here. This is the pump filter, the bottom of the unit. Smelt something as I was opening these valves up, and oh, that is gross. So that is basically disintegrated. So I'm gonna have to get a new one of those here, put that in. So this has turned into quite the project, more than I anticipated. And that's just the way it goes sometimes. So I'm going to take these off. I shut the water off to the unit, so I don't have to worry about more water coming out. So now I'm going to take these off so that I can clean them. They're all kind of clogged up. This one's clogged up. This one's not so bad, but you can see a little bit in there is clogged up. That one was. Oh, so let's get these popped out. See if we can clean them up. Clogged up with hair in there. Gross. Take these tubes out so you can clean them. You see there's more screws here that kind of are fastened in to keep those on with that strap. So I'm going to take those out there. Another one likely under there. Blow on it. Oh, nasty. This another spot. So I showed you with the other tools. I'll show you with the spring press. Put these in the rings and then you squeeze, get them in there, out, and then you can actually get this in here. Come on. Oh, I see. So whoever installed this didn't loop this. This is supposed to be looped. Man, that's some strong wire. That's not how it's supposed to look. There we are. Boot off. This is what these lines are supposed to look like. You put the loops of the tool in through here, pull. This is what this one looked like. A loop on one end, and then this one was never closed. So I don't know why that is, but I'm going to close it, see if I can close it with my pliers. Make sure you put in the new thing also before you start the install. So kind of hard to show. My spring and the seal metal line is all messed up from the get-go. It wasn't looped properly. The length is definitely not right because I had to modify it. I had to make the spring, I had to bend the springs so that they were further out, so that when they stretched, they went another basically like ½ inch. So I had to do that with some pliers. Hopefully you don't have that same problem. Every single thing I see on these tools on Amazon is great reviews, works great, and I could see if the length was correct. You just expand this, pop it on. I had to actually take the spring off of the line, spread it open, and then hook it with the pliers on the other side to get it to seal properly. So, huge pain in the butt. We'll see how the other one goes. I do not know how I would have done it if it wasn't for these. I wouldn't have been able to do it at all. But it's on. So let's get the clamps set up. Back in. That got frustrating. Sure, reconnect your plug before you do your boot. Man, that does not want to go in there. Then we get that boot all the way on, and then we can work our way to put the front spring on. And this is going to look a little bit more of what it's supposed to look like when you put the spring on compared to the back one. I try to put as much on by hand and then use the special tool to get that spring expanded. And then I did have to use a needle nose pliers to get the last little couple spots pushed back. I do not know how this would be done without that tool. So again, find that link in the description to buy this before you do this project, or you're going to be very upset. So you'll see here, get the rest of it on, use the tool, and then once we do that, we can move on to what you all are waiting for probably, is the bloopers. I didn't really explain just how frustrated I was trying to get that back spring on. So these bloopers are going to show you, and I hope you can relate to this doing your own DIY projects, because this happens a lot to me. So don't feel bad if you get frustrated with these projects and they take a lot more time than what you'd expect. Here you go. Come on, this is ridiculous. God damn it. What the fuck? Fucking believable. How is it possible? Come on. Jesus Christ. Fucking bullshit.